We're about a day away from week one. I'm Jason Gilbo here at Fantasy Football Cafe, taking a look at some injuries. A lot going into week one, more than usual, a lot of big names out there. Going to go game by game here. We're going to start with the Bears and the Packers. Randall Cobb, locked and loaded for week one. Despite being limited in practice, he's really no worry. But on the other side, you got Alshon Jeffrey, who's questionable. He brought out that good old phrase, "I'm going to give it a go." Don't know what that means. Don't know if he's going to warm up in practice or in pregame and test it out, or try and give it a go on the field. It's going to be iffy with him, and as well as Eddie Royal, who is also listed as questionable with the hip injury. So it's definitely going to be a situation to monitor up until game time. Luckily, it's the early game, so we'll be able to find out if either one of them sits. You're going to see a benefit of one of the other sides. Bears are going to be chasing from behind plenty of the game. They're going to be throwing the ball. You're going to see Forte get a lot of touches out of the backfield in the passing game. And as well as Martellus Bennett. So definitely a game to monitor. Looking at Rams Seahawks, Todd Gurley out as expected, but also Trey Mason questionable, kind of leaning towards doubtful actually. Benny Cunningham likely going to pick up the start against a tough Seattle defense, but Cunningham actually averaged some nice fantasy points there, but really not worth a grab. Panthers Jags, the only real one, Kelvin Benjamin out for the season, but you guys probably knew that already. Julius Thomas out for the Jags, so no real players to keep an eye on as far as questionables coming into the game. Looking at the Dolphins and the Skins, it's got some noteworthy news here because rookie wideout Devontae Parker probable for the game, but missed a lot of the time recovering from his injury in the offseason. So I'm not sure how involved he's going to be coming into week one. I'm going to give it another week before they get him going. So hold off just despite being probable. Redskins, RG3 is the only one really listed, but we already decided here. Kirk Cousins is the man in Washington, so fire up that with Dolphins defense this week. Colts Bills, Colts are pretty healthy outside of their backup running back Vic Ballard, who's already ruled out. Nobody else on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of probables on the defensive side, so looking at the Bills, Charles Clay, LaShawn McCoy, Sammy Watkins, all listed on the report, but all listed as probable, all ready to roll. So good news there. Jets Browns, all healthy, no issues to really report there. And heading to the next one, Chiefs Texans. Travis Kelce gave us a scare, but the ankle's fine. He's all set for Sunday's matchup. And Texans, the only one we know about already is Arian Foster rehabbing, but could be back sooner than later. Could be by the end of the month. So it's pretty good news there. Alfred Blue's going to draw a start, but you should see some Chris Polk in there as well. Kind of a situation I'm avoiding until Foster comes back. Saints Cardinals, CJ Spiller already listed as out. Mark Ingram's going to serve as the man in the backfield. I like this game as a high scoring affair between both sides. I think Breeze is going to throw a ton actually, because I think Palmer and company is going to light up that secondary, who is battered right now. Jarius Byrd out, Keenan Lewis already out. So I actually love the passing game for Arizona this week. But speaking of passing game, Michael Floyd, questionable, but things sound like he could give it a go this week, which would kind of create a little bit of a cluster with John Brown. But like I said, I like all those guys there. I think Fitzgerald, everyone's gonna get their share. Especially if Floyd does sit out. Unfortunately, it is a later game, so we're not going to know until late in the day. But like I said, something to keep an eye on there too. Lions healthy. Chargers dealing with one issue. Ladarius Green, who has a concussion but was a full participant in practice yesterday. Still something to monitor throughout the game because I do like Stevie Johnson. Either or, but I do like him more if Green does sit. Looking at the Ravens, Brashad Perryman out for Baltimore, leaving Flacco with a pretty limited receiving core other than Steve Smith. He's got the tight ends there, so I think you're going to see Forsett have a nice game. Broncos healthy, and no, Peyton Manning's weak right arm is not listed on the injury report, but that is something to watch because there has been some speculation on it. Who knows if it's media driven or what, but still something to watch for Sunday's matchup. Bengals Raiders, everyone ready to go, locked and loaded, so no worries there. Titans healthy, but the Bucks, one questionable wideout, Mike Evans, but I'm pretty confident he's going to give a play this week. And listed as questionable, but I'm pretty optimistic there. And in the Sunday night game, Victor Cruz is the only notable name out. It's going to set up Ruben Randall, Larry Donnell, of course, Odell Beckham, who's the #1 guy there. But it's going to take one more target away and add some targets to the other two guys there, so that's nice. Um, Moving into Monday night, Devin Hester out. Roddy White looks good to go. Depending on how long he lasts, it's something that we're worried about his durability this season, so that's something to watch there. On the other side, Zach Ertz, game time call, but he's been limited in practice. Not too optimistic about him. I think you're going to give it one more week with him and let him recover, get a full practice in. And the last West Coast Monday night game, 49ers and Vikings, all safe. No injuries to report there. So that's going to wrap it up. Give at DF Cafe a follow on Twitter because I'll be tweeting out updates early Sunday morning up until game times with all these injuries, keeping everyone posted there. So definitely give that a follow.